Okay, I'm well over 20 minutes, so it looks like this, or well over 15 minutes, so it looks like this is going to be 2 videos on YouTube, but that's fine. I'm essentially going through this material that I'd previously prepared for a website that I had years ago, and so I'm basically just going through that material and adding some things. It's pretty easy to just to make these videos using this material. This is a game played in 1998. B4 is obviously bad. D5 knight f6 is not the best response. E5 e4 in general is the best response to all unusual moves because it threatens destruction on f2. Bishop b2, bishop takes f6, bishop d4. So now white is up a piece, but by putting his bishop on d4, he's guarding against f2, but it makes it easy to take it. In general, you don't want to leave pieces really past the third rank at all because it's trivial to take them. The difference is if you're leaving a piece in enemy territory that ate stuff, it already kind of paid for itself. e5, e takes d4, bishop takes b4, king e7. Now this is a case where, if you remember my previous video on ghosts, you might be saying, why are you putting the king in front of the queen here? But actually, unless white has a way to get onto this diagonal and deliver check, which he can't do in 5 moves, well, actually, he can with f3. No, he can't. That would be 6 moves. So he has no way to take advantage of that. So at this point, material is even, although black does have pawns, but it's both sides have 6 pieces. So e3, e takes d4, queen g4, queen c8, queen d8. This is a reasonable series. However, black's rook, it gets into the game very quickly now via the 6. And if we look at the piece count, it's now 6-4, which I said earlier was generally good, but by having gotten rid of all his pieces here and developed, the rook can get into the game really fast. So actually this winds up being really good, where he just goes rook d8, rook d6, rook a6, rook a2, rook a1, rook b1. The piece count's now 4-3, but more importantly, white's this is kind of a really annoying check. He has to move in front of his bishop and then really do something else, like move again, otherwise he's going to get ghosted. And black with 2 rooks and a bunch of pawns is really winning here with the 4-3 configuration. So the best white could find was king e2, knight h3, g3, bishop g2. Rook takes b1, knight f4, knight takes d5 check. And although this check looks a bit to be kind of harassing and a bit annoying, the key thing here is that white has only ended his his series with the same amount of material, 3 pieces to 3 pieces. So with 8 moves, black should be winning easily here. And in fact, he sets up the key defensive configuration, king e8, bishop e7, and then just proceeds to take a bunch of stuff, knight c6, rook d8, rook takes d5, rook b5, rook takes b1, knight takes d4 check, and this is the knockout. White really can't ignore this knight and the rook, or he's going to get mated, even with just a king and a pawn or two. So he has to kind of deal with this. And in addition, he can't promote a pawn to anything major because of this configuration on the back rank. Like if he moves and then plays like something g8 queen or b8 queen, well, black would just block or even move, and then just with his knight and remaining pieces, he would finish white off because he really doesn't have that much material left. We don't even have to necessarily take the bishop. We can just stop the pawns from promoting and keep our pieces safe. So white tried this series, king d3, bishop takes b7, c3, c takes d4, d5, d6, d takes e7, king c2, king takes b1. And although this looks pretty good, it's at first glance, if you remember our section on mates, it should be relatively easy to spot a checkmate here on the back rank. And in fact, black played king takes e7, king d6, king c5, king b4. That's 4 moves, 5 moves, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that's a checkmate. So the knockout there occurred when it was 4 pieces to 3, really, and white just kept it 3 pieces to 3, and then black delivered a knockout blow. So one more example. This is a Fischer random position, so I'm going to show a game that I lost, the only game I lost in the 1998 Fischer Random Championship, which I won, but I did lose this game, and with black, so I'll show it. White played d4, black played d5, g5, and white played g4, knight a3, c3. This is sort of an advanced concept. Yes, white didn't really eat much material, but at the same time, the queens are kind of hard to get to in this position, and he's essentially stuffed this diagonal with a whole bunch of pawns that have made it difficult for me to get queens off. So maybe this isn't the best series. Black kind of just marks time and gets his king safe and opens up his lines for development, but you gotta feel like the game is somewhat suspect when no one's taken anything after 4 moves. So now white played a very, very good series that I had overlooked. He played knight f3, knight takes g5, knight takes h7, knight takes f8. I thought I was checkmating all these series, but he played a very good move before he played knight takes f8, because obviously that would end his series. Rook c2, and this guards against all the checkmates, and so this just turns out horribly for me because not only did he eat a piece, so he's now got the piece advantage, but he ended with a very annoying check, and I've got to put my king, kind of go through contortions not to get mated. So king c7, knight b4, knight takes c2, knight takes a1. I at least took advantage of the fact he lined up the rook and the queen nicely there for my pieces. Knight c2, knight takes a3. So I took 3 pieces on this series, and I was feeling like maybe I could hold a game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 4, which I said previously was often a winning advantage. But in this case, it's not, and after the 7, it's obvious that I'm losing. B takes a3, bishop e4, bishop takes f5, bishop takes c8, bishop takes b7, bishop takes a8, king c2. And white is up 4 pieces to 3, but more importantly, he's got really powerful promotable pawns on the 9. So even if I manage to score a knockout in the piece sense, where I take his key pieces, it's hard for me to stop the remainder of his forces. So the 8 that I played was bishop e6, bishop e5, bishop takes g4, bishop takes h2. I was being cute, alternating moves with my 2 bishops. Bishop takes e2, bishop takes g1, bishop takes f1, bishop takes f2. I've only ended my series up 3 to 2, and we've seen this as problematic because once any side gets reduced to this few number of pieces, then the knight can finish you off. Often, like he can lead me with one of these bishops and just set up a powerful position, which is what he did. Bishop takes d5. Bishop f7, bishop takes e8. He has 6 moves left. Bishop b5, bishop takes f1. D5, c4. King b3, knight e6 check. And white doesn't even care about the bishop on f1, because if black tried to run after and capture it, then he would just get queened on, or lose rather easily. This shows the case of the knight being powerful, the bishop being helpless. He's put everything on light squares. The a3 pawn doesn't really matter, and so he's easily winning here as the game goes on. So I resigned in this position as there wasn't anything left for me to do. So this is another example of the knockout, with one side being reduced to unpromotable pawns and helpless minor pieces. So this should give you some idea of what you're trying to do in a progressive chess game. How the game proceeds over time. And how you actually go about winning material. And you also saw the beginning of some of the themes of defense, things like blocking promoted pawns, delivering check at the end of your series, and other things like that. And I'm going to go through those in the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed this look at real progressive chess games, and thanks for watching.